They are off and running. Alberta politicians hoping to win your votes over the next 27 days. Will the NDP hold on to their power? Will it be a UCP win? What about the other parties? And just how nasty is this race going to get? Some pundits are suggesting could get very nasty. Danielle Smith from Global News Radio 770 CHQR joins us now. Well, if anything, Danielle, what we know is that we don't know what's going to happen because everybody thought they knew when that election was going to be called and everyone had different guesses. So what is this next 27 days going to look like?
I think it is going to be grueling from an emotional point of view. We already know that people get very emotional about politics. And when you've got politicians pushing those emotional buttons, it's just, I think it's going to be like a level we've never seen before. I was curious about Premier Notley's tone when she launched into the campaign. Normally, the Premier looks statesman-like, and they let others do the work of attacking. But she started right into a speech with attacks, talking about intolerance and extremism and bigotry and lying and cheating, I think probably within her first 3 minutes. Then she got to her policy agenda, which included healthcare and education and minimum wage and climate change. And she didn't get to the things that I think most people care about, which is the economy, pipelines, jobs, and taxes until the very end. And so Jason did it the complete reverse. He, I thought, looked quite statesmanlike, was very serious, started with the economic issues, and then he had to deal with some of the controversies surrounding his campaign in the latter half. So it's an interesting tactic. I think one of the big differences that we're seeing between these two parties and these two leaders is that Rachel Notley clearly has her party behind her. She's had a couple of resignations from her caucus, but even those who have resigned haven't resigned with any huge bombshells. She had a couple of sexual misconduct allegations. They reported it internally and nobody leaked it out. Whereas you look at what's happening on the other side, anyone who leaves the UCP leaves in the noisiest way possible, clashing and banging as they go out the door. And and all of the allegations is self-inflicted harm, whether it's those who were engaged in illegal fundraising or illegal donations on Jeff Callaway's campaign, or whether it was even these the fallout between these two Conservative members that resulted in Caitlin Ford resigning. So I think that that's going to be Jason's biggest problem. I think that he's got the best message and probably the best communicator of that message, but I think he's going to be dogged by the rearguard attacks that keep on happening on him and his opposition. Rachel Notley's NDP is going to take full advantage of it. We
have about 15 seconds, Danielle. Yesterday you were mentioning that a lot of focus will be placed on what happens in Calgary.
Well, yeah, and I think we saw that as well. I mean, when Rachel Notley did turn to talk about Calgary, she called us the economic engine of the country, and she's quite right. We are, and so I think that you're going to see both of the candidates spending quite a bit of time here because this is the battleground. I think they'll put in some visits to some of the other communities, but I think that this is the place that they're going to be trying to win over hearts and minds. So expect to see them a lot.
Thanks, Danielle. Have a good show.
My pleasure.